Hello, everyone, and welcome
Hello.
to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. What are we going to talk about? Everybody wants to know. This is, to me, going to be one of the greatest discussions we have had. And I want to tell you why. Because everybody that's looking at this or looking at the replay, you're going to be able to relate to this topic. This is a topic that can hit everybody, okay? And we have a great facilitator that's going to kind of help us understand how to deal with different things. Um, we're going to be talking about self-discovery, but I'm going to let her tell you how she got this title going after everyone on this wonderful platform. Introduce yourself and have a good time introducing yourself. I am Dr. Suzette Robinson. I am your trichologist, board certified, and a certifier. If you're looking to expand your education, I am that person for you beyond when you get your license as a cosmetologist. Yes, there's more to it than just getting your license. So, and next, come on,
Good
Dr.
evening, good evening, good evening. I am Dr. Pamela Hill. I am also your board certified trichologist and educator. I also own a salon in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Welcome to tonight's call.
All right, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
I was getting ready to go.
You was gone.
Everybody, I'm Dr. Rashawn Broadnex here in the Washington, D.C. area. I am your local hair loss specialist and practitioner with a focus in hair replacement, non-surgical hair replacement, and extension work. So any questions, any type of extensions you may have in mind, I am your person here in the Washington, D.C. area. I absolutely love what I do. And without further ado, I'll pass the mic on to our facilitator for this evening, none other than Miss Shanae Starnes.
That's the mic.
Listen, it is a great evening. I am Shanae Starnes, and I am located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a licensed cosmetology educator. I am a certified trichologist, and I am an author, a speaker, and a coach. And this topic tonight, along with my family, my friends, my counterparts in this industry, is really great to have. It's, I think, a time to have. We're in the third quarter of the year, and so our topic that we're going to talk about today is from self-doubt to decisions. It's time to make decisions, right?
Yes.
And if you don't know that, I'm telling you right now, it is time. It's that time to make some decisions, okay? Because we're in the third quarter. And, you know, as business owners, many of you that watch this show, you are business owners. And as we facilitate these shows, every once in a while, we'll have some business topics that we're talking about. And although we're talking about from self-doubt to decisions, you know, starting with yourself translates to your business. So once we help ourselves, we're able to be more efficient in our businesses. And so we're going to talk about, like, what is your personal framework for your goals? And I'm going to start out with talking about framework, because as a person, even God had framework for our lives, and he called them the 10 Commandments.
Okay.
And for those who understand that, there's ideas for us to bring to ourselves to say, why are we living haphazardly?
Oh, wow.
Why are there things that we are dealing with and we just don't know how or get around the right circumstances or people to understand how to get out of them, right? So I'll ask a few questions and I'll go around to get some feedback from our panel. You know, what's been ailing you? Like, what has been happening to you in your life? Like, you're showing up for others, but quite frankly, you know, how have you been showing up for yourself? And, you know, doubt is pretty huge, and we don't talk about it a lot. But one of the, you know, doubt is a part of self-sabotage. It's a part of self-betrayal. You know, we sometimes talk about it's time to look in the mirror and say, I love you. But let's talk about the self betrayal that you are betraying on yourself when you become doubtful, because it's a time killer. So what's been ailing you? What have you lost lately? Have you lost a loved one? Have you lost your mind? Have you lost some money? Are your kids just acting, they running amok? Like, let's talk about it.
It's good.
So that we can start to move forward. One more. What have you gained and you lost? You gained it, you lost it, you gained it, and you lost it again. Like, because sometimes there's cycles, because again, we got to figure out, you know, what are these self-doubting things that are coming into our lives that keep us from making what we call like thought-provoking and better decisions. So with that information, can we go ahead and get started and help the people with, you know, what is a personal framework? Why is it important? And what's your input with this topic tonight?
I can start off. I might have to ask you again because you asked a couple questions here.
Oh yeah, no.
Do...
That's for the audience.
Okay.
I want the audience, I want that to simmer on their minds and think about it, because I want to bring them into the conversation. But no, add to what you need to.
Okay. Well, I do like the way that you put framework, because framework can mean like the structure of pretty much anything, the building, your life, or whatever is going on. So I do like that, because without structure, you will be all over the place to where you are actually unable to make a decision. And that was me. You know, I was always helping, but not doing what I wanted to do. Yeah. So with that, I've learned to like, okay, you know what, just go ahead and make the decision. And then that way, once I make that decision, then I can focus on how to make that decision work versus trying to make it work before I make the decision. If you get what I'm saying. So I struggled with that for a very long time. When I say very long time, because it was always like, oh, okay. Or I would let someone talk me out of doing something to where I really had my mind on it. So I had to learn how to actually like write stuff down and like implement it and then mark it off as, you know, as I went. You know, because I wasn't big when, and people always say, oh, vision board. And I'm like, I don't got time to be sitting here and pasting no pictures to no board. That's how I thought about it. But it makes sense because it's no difference than you actually making a to-do list. You know, people just call it different things. Right. And it's not a difference. And when I realized that and understand that, it's like, okay, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm like, okay, this could have been pretty cool, you know? So I had to learn how to actually just go ahead and structure myself first and then go ahead and make that decision. And with me making that decision, I went along and like, okay, this is what I need to do to make sure this works. This is what I need to do to make sure this works. So I had to stand my ground on that and not let anybody, like you say, sabotage, you know, your decision making and on things that you want to do. Because sometimes you can have family, friends, especially when you're dealing with something like death or anything like that, or even just having a family. You know, you're trying to multitask with working, having a business, coming home, cooking, taking care of your kids, taking care of your husband, cleaning the house. It's like, okay, you got multiple jobs. So you had to have some type of structure just to do all the jobs that you implement in your day. So with me actually trying to do that, it was easier for me to like, okay, you know what, let me go ahead and make this decision and do this. With me understanding like, okay, this is going to take this much time. This is going to take this many days. This is going to take this how long, you know? So with you actually writing it down, coming up with a plan, having that strong structure, I think there's nothing that you can't do.
That's true.
Excellent. Who would like to add into what Dr. Pam said? Very powerful.
You know, Dr. B, go ahead.
Oh, sure. So the one of the things that hit me was when you talk, like you said, the framework. And like Pam said, that for some people, the framework may be their vision board because they may need to visually, you know, pinpoint certain things. And for me, it is what you exactly said, Pam. It's a list. And as long as I have something to look at and I can, like you said, check it off as you go, then I work much better. I work more, I guess, more or less in a
orderly fashion.
It's orderly, but it's like logical. It has to logically flow from one thing to the next. If it doesn't, then it just doesn't work for me. And, like I tell people, I'm a person, I can change my mind about things, but you have to present to me a logical argument why my mind should be changed. And so once I think something out and come up with my logic as to how it needs to go, I put it on paper so it becomes more final. In your mind, you change, right? But once it's on paper, it's a little more final. And I start to work that plan from that way. And yes, you may need to maneuver some things around and change, but you actually have something visual that you can see, and you have a map. You're able to follow along or go get where you need to go as long as you have a map. So that's what I would definitely say. The framework is very important.
That's excellent. How about you, Dr. Robinson?
Oh, if I had a fan, I would just.
Yeah, let me get. There you go.
You know what? I think, and I'm going to say it from a different perspective. I don't think at some point, and maybe somebody that's on here will probably agree with me, I don't think I paid much attention to the framework. Of course, we know that everything has to have a frame to it in order to build on. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Pam said something that kind of triggered a thought in my mind. I'm the person, Dr. B, you all, fan flapper. I'm that person that loves to give great advice on how people should build their frame. Mm-hmm. But I failed so badly when it comes to my framework. Mm-hmm. And something Shanae said was, we're in this day and time where we're talking about self-help and self-care, taking care of ourselves. But are we really taking care of ourselves? When I look at what you've given us, I wrote some notes. Y'all know I love notes. Framework. Whenever the framework is not intact, mm-hmm. doubt surely.
Yes.
That's the thing that sabotages mm-hmm. your life. Mm-hmm. And I guess at this point in my life, I'm 56, and I thought my framework was together, but my body told me, mm-mm. Mm-hmm. You have headaches, you have backache, all these situations come, stress, all of that was because my framework, mine, was not together. So this topic, I think, is going to be a revelational injection for me. It's going to give me that push that will help me to recognize my framework. And I'm hoping that someone else that's on here, I see a lot of people tuning in. Please put your thoughts about this on here, because I love what each one has said. But it's not effective until you put it into action.
Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about as well. The reason why I said framework, because what I wanted to offer to you, we don't use that term a lot. We don't use that term a lot in cosmetology. We don't use that term, but I'm going to throw some other terms, because the two terms that work for me is I'm a process person. Yes, and Dr. Robinson may know that. People that know me, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm like you, Dr. B, it has to make sense. And so I have to have a level of process. So some terms that people may identify are terms like a strategy. They might want that blueprint. They may need the principles, or, some type of outline. As teachers, we create an outline, because one thing's for sure and two things for certain is that no business operates without it. I'm telling you, God gave us commandments for a reason. There's order that needs to happen in order for success to occur. And successful people make decisions. And so this is why I wanted to get your impact, because everything that you all shared was your personal power. And so to those that are on the other side of this conversation as tuning in, and thank you, by the way, for tuning in on our show today, I want you to recognize that you have personal power. We're calling it framework, but you already have it. For those of us who may go to therapy, counseling, there are processes that they take you through.
Thank
There
you.
is a in a year, I just told you we're in the third quarter. There's even a process to the plants that are growing, the flowers that grow. So what I wanted to bring just to our thought process as we continue to try to get to a centered place as possible and get from that self-doubt to decisions is to think about whatever you want to call it, but just to get something in place, some type of principles for your personal life so that it will help to translate over to your business, because there's so many businesses that began in COVID, and there's so many businesses that are shifting from one business that one did do into another one. So you're still new, starting something over, and you need that confidence. And so another question that I had here is, what more do you want in life? See, that's where doubt starts to set in, because you start walking around with like, well, daggone, I thought I knew what my purpose was, and I thought I was passionate about that. But then, you know, certain things happen in our life and we start to shift. So what more do you want in life? And some of you guys may be sitting and saying, you know what, I haven't even asked myself that question. So don't let me be the only one asking that question. If there's someone out there in the audience, like I'm talking about, ask yourself out loud, what more do I want in life? And answer it. Start pondering that question. You'll be surprised what you'll start to realize that your gift may be, and you haven't even reached the pinnacle of life yet. Yeah. Another question I wanted to ponder on as I open this up for the panel is, what more do you want in your business? For many of you that are in business, all of us here on the panel, we're in business. But one thing we do know is that in order for your business to operate efficiently, you have to be efficient as a person. We talk about this all the time. If you're a broke down individual with all these issues, it just translates into your business. Your customer service is off. Your growth mindset is in a fixed standpoint, it's in a victim mentality. It's just not reasonable to work with customers and consumers because you haven't taken the time to develop. So the last question that I would ask is, what do you want to be able to be a blessing to others about? Because not only do you want to know what more is it in, what's in it for you in life, and maybe what's in it for you for your business, but God didn't put us on here to be alone, even though some of us hate people. Now we in business, but hate dealing with people. Too bad, so sad. It just ain't their way. If you want to be prosperous, if you want to have some type of level of prosperity, which is available to you, if the Lord, then you have to be able to figure it out. What is it that you can be a blessing to? And figure it out. So those are the questions that, as we talk about moving from that self-doubt to making some decisions or moving to a level of self-discovery. I did talk about personal power, and I'll hit you with this, guys. There's 3 things I wanted to hit with personal power that you share, because I could see in your shoulders and your back just kind of straightened up. When you have personal power, you have confidence.
You do. I
you have personal power. You got clarity.
What?
Clearer. And when you have personal power, you have creativity, but we use that word so haphazardly that we use it and people say, well, I ain't creative. So I wanted to add that, what is your unique ability that only you have?
That's good. That is so good.
As we hover into personal power, the what it all entails, and the audience is asking of themselves, you know, what more is it for me in life? What more is it for me in my business? What more is it for me to give to others? Can I start off with someone to add impact to this conversation?
Well, so much has been said, and I had to note it down for myself. I'm gonna be selfish tonight. But I want to say this though. When you're talking about personal power or what do you want more for your business, I think that for me, being a business owner, my business has really taken a different turn from when I first started because there was so much I had to learn. There were things I thought I knew, and I found that, and especially since I've been with Shanae, she has helped me, and Pam too. Pam put a foot in my back all the time. They keep me in order. They show me things that helps me. I want to say this. What more do you want in life? I want in life to be a blessing to those that God has put me in charge of. And with that being said, I don't want it to ever be one-sided that I'm doing for them and then I'm missing myself because I heard this in the beginning and I'm gonna keep that. My framework has to be in such a way that when I'm trying to be a blessing to someone else, I got to be a blessing to me too. Okay. And I was reading someone's comment. Hey, Katria is on here, you guys, and she's spitting out some good stuff. But one thing is said that your framework can be your mindset. Katria wrote that, and she's absolutely right because your mind is the central location for your whole body. And the Bible says, whatsoever a man thinketh, so is he. So if your mind jacked up, your business, your life is going to be jacked up.
Yep.
Okay? And I'm going to say this because I'm going to make y'all laugh. My daughter made an illustration to me. She said, Mom, a crackhead. Now I'm going to show you. I hate to talk about crackheads, but this is a good one. They may have some outward appearance trouble and minds. A lot may be going on. But when they want that crack, their framework is on point because they don't think about how they're going to get it, who they're going to come in contact with. They just go for it, okay? And I thought about that. She said, now, hear me good, Mama. And I said, okay. She said, are you going to make a crackhead?
Right.
Come on now. Framework, I'm going to use the word Shanae gave us. You're going to let their framework be better than yours. And, that's why we have this roller coaster ride of doubt. Because look, one day I believe this and one day I don't. Some bad happen, I fall apart. Look, you are either going to believe it or not. Or as my granddaughter would say, or no. It's going to be one or the other. So don't let the crackhead out slick you. Or they have a mindset that's better than yours. Y'all understand? No offense to nobody, but you got to use some logic here. And what she's saying about this framework, this is important. This is your foundation. And out of life, I want my framework to be right. So I can't be a blessing to nobody if my stuff is all jacked up. We pretend a lot, Shanae. We pretend a lot like everything is A-okay. But the manifestation of what's going on in your life will show up in your business.
Right.
Okay? I'm just telling you. You shouldn't have to hustle so hard if you set it up right.
Right.
Am I right about it, Pam?
That's it. I like something that you said too about personal power. Is not personal power is not being in control of anyone else. That's more of having confidence in yourself and that strength in yourself. Because if you do lack personal power, you're gonna doubt a lot. You have to have that mindset to where, because you're doing something, you're not doing something to get somebody's attention or they thought or how they felt that you did. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you have your mind, that framework is straight, and you go with your gut and you feel that you can do this, you shouldn't let anyone come in and dictate to what you shouldn't do.
Come on now.
So that's that personal power. It's like I said, it's not taking over somebody or telling somebody what to do. It's just having that self-confidence in yourself with personal power.
In other words, Dr. Pam, you're telling me.
I don't care what you think.
When I got this personal power, you can come tell me the sun ain't shining. I say it is. I supposed to stand on what I say. Is that what you tell
That's
me?
it. That's what you're supposed to do. Stand on
Well,
what you
Dr.
say.
B, well, I'll be.
Well, I'll tell you that the one thing that I was thinking about when you mentioned what more do you want in your life, right? And I am so with you, Dr. Suzette, when you said you want to be a blessing to people that God has put you over. I say something very similar. I want to be a blessing to people that He puts in my path.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I was actually thinking, I'll tell you this quick little story, and I'm going to talk real fast because I don't want it to take us too long. But I was talking to a friend of mine today, and she called me early, and I was in the bed and I didn't answer. When I called her back, I said, "Hey, I'm calling you back. What's going on?" She said, "As always, I'm calling you for some advice." And I said, "Okay." So we went through and we talked about the situation. She said, "Do you ever think why you you always find yourself advising people, trying to help people?" And I said, "Because I believe that that is my purpose, one way, shape, or form. Whatever it is that has been given to me is to be given back out. So whether it's something that I have learned, I believe that I'm supposed to teach somebody else.
Right.
If whatever I have been blessed with, say if it's a financial thing and I figured out, okay, and this is how I'm supposed to make some money. If somebody else wants to do the same, give that unto them. Whatever advice I may have, how to get through a situation, if it's been given to me, to give it back to people." And so I feel like that is my purpose in life, and that is what I want for my life to continue. And I want more of that. I want to continue to be a blessing unto other people, because like we said earlier, Lord, like you said, Dr. Suzette, when you do for others, you also do for yourself, right? And so I know that the more that I do for others in that sense, I'm greater blessed as I continue.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Pop your fan.
Huh?
You pop that fan.
Oh, let me give you a little fan. Okay, there you go. So yeah, so I think that's, for me, that is the greatest thing. And then in my business, the same. I would hope that my business will continue to flourish and grow because of those seeds that I plant and place, for other people. So
that is so good. That is so good. And you are a reflection of your business. People watch us all the time. They hear what we say, but they also watch what we do. And when people look at you, they should see you with a mind that's steadfast, unmovable. I mean, everything about you should say, "Oh, she's strictly business." People treat you accordingly to how you treat yourself. So if you come to me, since I've learned so much, when it comes to this education, and most of y'all, all y'all on this platform should say, yeah, when it comes to getting things done far as education, and we got to learn some stuff, I'm all in. I'm totally in, because I know that this is important. But just think about it. If, like Dr. B said, if I'm one of those people, I just want to be a blessing. Being a blessing sometimes, it has different faces on it. There are times when you need to be quiet and let others speak, and you just listen. Then there are times you need to spit the truth to them. Okay?
And that's pretty told it.
Come on now. We just got to be straightforward.
Right.
However you start out, that's how it's going to be. And I'm loving this topic. Is meat to my bones. I don't know what it's doing for y'all. Meat to my.
Well, I wanted to just share, because you guys brought up a lot of great topics, and this is just something that I wanted to kind of tie in. And I want you all to see, and this is for the audience as well, is that the reason why it's important to understand that there is a framework, even for our lives, is that we are in a position to be change agents, even from behind the chair. It doesn't have to be tactical. It doesn't have to be hands-on. Creating coaching businesses, such as one that you just spoke of, Dr. B, is something that, I endeavor to help individuals see. But you can't coach people, you can only coach them from healed places. So when I told you guys about your personal power that you just shared, it's
Mhm.
because you have a strategy, you have a framework. So those frameworks are what you would put together in a package, low end, high end, however, and you would help these people and they would call Dr. B and set up a session and talk with you, and you would walk them through the framework. And so that was my point, to kind of tie some things together. But people, and this is to whoever's watching this out there, our lives have been an example of what God has done to us time and time and time again. And sometimes we don't show how downtrodden we really are, because then we feel like we ain't thanking God like we should be. you know or we just, but one of the things I want everybody to understand is that just like in business there's ebbs and flows, meaning that it's ups and downs. Our lives are just like that. So when we talk about being in a victim mindset or a fixed mindset, you don't want to sit in that, because that's where self-sabotage happens. That's where self-doubt occurs. That's where you can't stay. But we do go through that. We might go through that once a week, once a month, so understand that it's okay, because we're still human. But the goal is to sit in the area of responsible thinking, standing in the area of always growing and being the very best. And when we're able to do that, what strategies did you use to get through and from that place of doubt to a decision? Because there was a strategy that you used. That particular strategy, whether you believe you had one or not, you did, is what you're able to sit and help people through. And they would be more than happy to work with you. You know why? Because people buy from people they know, like, and they trust.
Exactly.
Same business principles. Nothing changes. Nothing changes because it's us individually. No, it doesn't change. So I wanted to, and I know we're rounding out the hour, but I just wanted to make some clarity, bring some clarity around the difference between self-esteem and self-confidence.
Oh,
Mhm.
All right. Because some people, they have high self-esteem, but they may lack confidence, and you're trying to figure out, well, what is that all about?
Yeah.
Or they may look confident, but you're trying to figure out what's all that talk that they doing. They sound like they don't
Right.
have self-esteem. So it's good to have both, but self-confidence is situation specific. Self-confidence is just the amount of trust that you have in yourself to do a particular task well. All right. You can have a lot of self-confidence regarding your ability to do a certain task, to host a party, something like that. But when it comes to self-esteem, self-esteem is the general impression that you have of yourself.
That's good. That's good.
That's the impression that you have of you.
Yeah.
Self-esteem is a self-love. It's how pleased you are with yourself. And it starts there. How pleased are you with yourself? If you are made in the image of God, how pleased are you with yourself? That's self-esteem. Bump all the confidence, because we come across, like Dr. Robinson said, she said it in her way. Oh yeah, she's confident. She's confident. But really, how pleased are you with yourself?
Yeah. You know what though? I got the.
Yeah, go ahead and slide in. I was just gonna tie it up, but I'll tie it up.
You can't tell this. Hold what you got. Hold what you got. I would like for us to have the topic on dealing with self-esteem and confidence, because I think that needs to be clarified.
Okay.
And to find out how confident you are with yourself. I guess you said that. See, Shanae, can we get that topic? I think
there you go. She brought it up. There you go.
And I'm saying this because let's talk about it. Tuesday is set up to help all of us. And this platform is open to discuss things that people don't want to really talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about hair loss. We're going to talk about this and we're going to talk about that. But like Shanae said earlier, there are topics we're going to discuss. And these are topics that need to be talked about. So I would like for that to happen if all possible.
And that is, and I just want to add to what you said, Dr. Robinson, for our licensed professionals out there that are operating in the space of being a trichologist, a hair loss specialist, I'm offering to you to go ahead and take this particular topic and create something for your clients, because that is a part of you helping them release stress. That's
Right.
part of the reasons that people lose hair. They come into you, they want it, they want the ambiance of being stress less.
Yes,
And so creating those workshops for your community, I've said this before, like we have to be the change in the community. Their kids, if they have teenagers and you have information on how to love yourself, 3 tips on how to love yourself, or 3 tips on how to grow in a pandemic, whatever the topics are, listen, professionals in the beauty industry, please open up yourself, develop the confidence that is necessary to be about the business to help our communities. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I do want to say this. There was a time when it was the Black beauty salons, and it was a time when it was the Black barbershops, and it was a time when it was the Black church that held all the information necessary that we needed, and we ran to because we knew we would get the information. There is a deficit in our communities, and people are still getting their hair done. And this is the time where people are sitting still long enough. We're having the conversations, but what impact are we having outside of the exchange of money for the style? Have an event at your salon and bring in the youth.
yes.
About self-image. We are talking about it. Things are happening around us, and many of you guys are doing it. So let's continue that. Let's celebrate you. Let's connect. Let's not be quiet about this any longer, y'all. Our boys need it. Our young Black boys need it. Our young teenagers need it. Our young Black girls need it. And in the beauty industry, we definitely need. We're image. We help with image. I've been teaching teens about body confidence, their image with hair. People pull me all the time to do those types of workshops. And so it's okay. If you're making good money in this industry and you want to donate a portion of your time to give back, let that be. Sometimes your money, I mean, your giving back doesn't have to be financial. It could just be time-based. Figure that out. So no, Dr. Robinson, whatever is necessary to help unlock those that need an unlocking because they're stuck in self-doubt, and we trying to move them from self-doubt into a decision to stop being afraid of what? Fear is the fear of false evidence appearing real. We're here to tell you, do it afraid, do it very afraid, because you got a whole village of people waiting for you. You got their key, and they need only you. They don't need Shanae to say it. They don't need Dr. Robinson. They need you in your hood, in your community, in your city. They need you to get up and to help. We just come in at the end of a pandemic, y'all. We got to get our lives back together. People are not doing well. Some are saying, oh yeah, I did really good in the pandemic, but some of their family, they're not. We got to keep it moving positively. Right. Thank you guys for the time tonight.
Listen, y'all know what? This is the best group of professionals I've ever met in my life. And these topics are so life-giving. My thought on doing this, if it can't be life-giving, I don't feel like we need to be doing it. Mm-hmm. Because you need to be able to walk away from this setting, the panel and those that are tuning in. You need to be able to walk away with something that will be productive to carry you from one day to the next. And if you don't feel good about yourself after hearing what I heard tonight, we couldn't help you anyway. But I heard the framework. I heard self-help and self-care. Again, I say, if you did not walk away from here tonight, or whatever time it's in your city, it's something productive, you couldn't be helped anyway. But if you're going to be self-help, I would challenge you to go back and replay this or go to the YouTube channel, P2P BHAM, and just listen to this over and over again. There will be more to come. Next week, we will be back. Shanae, I'm sure we'll be coming back with some additive because there's so many people. I'm looking at what you're writing. I'm loving what you're putting out there because that lets me know, it lets everybody on this panel know we're worth our worth. And what we're doing is effective because that's all we want to do. We want to be effective with our topics, with our comments. We want to be effective. And with that being said, I want to thank Shanae again for a job extremely well done. Shanae is a speaker. She's a speaker. She's an author. I have her book right here. Hairstylist. Y'all don't have this book. I know you don't. You don't have.
I got mine. It's at the shop.
All right. We got B. We got to get yours. But listen, those of you that's on this live and you're going to watch the replay, you better get this book. Everybody need a journal. And I love the way it's set up. I mean, she has little, you get it. I ain't gonna open it up. But I'm serious.
That's it.
And she's gonna tell you after I show you the next book, because I have one more. She has several books. I've been on her website and stuff, and I've been following some things that she's been doing, and I'm really impressed. And I found myself needing some of her books for my ratification, for my business, for my mindset and my framework, to keep my framework together. This book, y'all don't have this one either. If you don't have it, you need to get it. This is the Beauty CEO. I done heard a lot of people on Facebook doing their lives, talking about how important they are and what they're gonna do. You need to get this book right here. And I'm gonna tell you why. We have a poor way of supporting each other. Because you may think you know Suzette, you may not buy nothing from me, and that's fine. God got somebody that will buy all of my merchandise, okay? Same with Shanae. Some people that's close to her that know her, they don't find no value in getting these books. Oh, I told Shanae I could turn the book down. They don't have, but I'm here to tell you, this is so good. This is so good. And let me tell you, you need to start embracing those that are giving you positive information that's conducive to your business growing. We got another storm coming, you guys. I keep telling y'all thought COVID was something. Something else is coming. When you know it's coming, you need to be prepared. Now, you sit up and keep twiddling your thumbs, thinking you're going to, I'm going to survive. You may not make it the next time. Some of y'all barely made it this time. Do not be outside when it's storming. Go ahead and get it together. This book, and I'm not making it up, is so good for you. My lady ain't got nothing on these books. My lady good for basic teaching. But we talk about beyond the fact that you left cosmetology. You need this book. Hairstylists, barbers, I ain't gonna leave y'all out. Y'all need this book too. Stop tripping. Y'all need to write stuff down. Pam just said, and Dr. B said, you gotta write it down. Get this, okay? All right. Now, I'm gonna let her say a little bit about it, and I'll do the sponsors. Go ahead, tell them how they can get this.
I'm gonna just elaborate very, very briefly. I just wanted to share that this is called My Hair Matters, and it's a 30-day hair care journal. And so this came up because I was just thinking that because our hair is indicative of what's going on with our body, I couldn't find anything for my clients or even for myself, even for the teens that I teach when I do speak at workshops, that they can have to write down their products that they're using. We use so many and we don't know which ones are working or anything. You know, journaling is very important because it has evidence of what you have been able to use, and you can figure out whether it works or not. What are you eating for the day? Water intake, and you can journal your hair mood. Some people, they may have braids in their hair, so you can always put your current mood. So it's a journal, and it came from a place of just being able to take ownership. And if you are having hair issues, this is great to have with you so you can take it as documentation to a doctor, to a trichologist, and they could ask you questions and it'll be well documented, okay? This other book is a book that was actually birthed right before the pandemic with 7 other authors, and it's because I felt like our industry, the beauty industry, we are CEOs. And when I first got into the industry, I got into the industry wanting to do hair. And now that I'm a cosmetology educator, I realize and I teach from the aspect of when you go to the school to get the license, that license is to cover you to work in the state that you're in as a business. So I went back because I lost many years, did not know how to file my taxes. I did not understand anything about business credit. I did not understand business. And I wanted to figure out what are some of the things, what are some of the principles that are necessary in business, because that sometimes I feel like is what a beauty CEO misses. They've missed the fact that you are the chief executive operator or officer of your business. And so not to go any deeper than that, that's what this is. 7 of us, we wrote about what we believe a principle that was thriving or necessary for us to be successful in this industry. So thank you, Dr. Robinson, for the ability to share my information. You can go to my Instagram page, Shanae Starnes. You can find me Shanae Starnes and click my link in my bio. They're on Amazon. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, bless you, bless you. And you know what? There are many of us on this panel that do some awesome work. So you're going to hear from everybody. Everybody's going to advertise their stuff. And let me tell you something. If I can't get it from my friends and those that I trust and know that they're educated enough to give me information, who else can I buy it from? Y'all buy it from everybody, anybody, and nobody's. But you have a certified, board certified person that's giving you information. It don't get no better than that. And with that being said, I'm gonna also give a shout out to our sponsors, which is Platinum Beauty Supply Store, for all our beauty needs. They make sure we have everything we need for the Cancer Center. Also, Isabella Graphics, and more. She works behind the scene on a lot of things that we use and have, and you all are going to see some paraphernalia that each one is going to have, that she's putting together for us. We also can't leave out the lip gloss queen. She's got the new chocolate. It's so good. I mean, Dr. B, so good. She is doing very well in her business, and we want to thank her for things that she's doing. She's just turned 11, and I'm super proud of her because she's going to read. Listen, she don't have hair issues, but we're going to use one of these books for her to write her little stuff because she follows everything that I do. And I love that about her. So I don't want to mislead her in any form or fashion. And she listens to people on this panel. So be careful what you put out there. Make sure it's some good information because you got people following you. I think, I can't leave out Kingdom Dominion Worship Ministries Incorporation. Pastor Donnie B. Robinson is my pastor. He's also my husband, but he's also the brains behind Let's Talk About It Tuesday. He takes personal times. He's a very quiet person, and he makes sure all our information is on there. And if y'all go back and read in the comment section, you will see him commenting different things and looking up words and putting stuff out there. And I just want to tell him how appreciative I am of him. And everybody on this panel thinks very highly of Pastor Donnie. So we say thank you. Thank you. Did I forget anybody? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you all have really enjoyed this. We've enjoyed bringing this information to you. Also, check us out again, I said, on YouTube. And also, if you have any requests or anything, please send it to P2P information, the number 7 at gmail.com. Thank you so much. Thank you, Terry. All right, be blessed, everyone. And we're gonna say good night. See you next Tuesday. Y'all tune in on time. She gonna hit us with some heavy stuff. All right? Okay. Live.